What? Do you guys always expect there to be some kind of fancy intro? No. Just go watch the video. Today we are replacing this valve cover gasket. I so badly wanted to paint it, but I don't have the paint for it right now, and that's okay. We're just gonna decrud the thing as much as we can and just call it good. Make it look brand new if we can. So the tools for this job that you're gonna need are very simple. A pair of needle nose pliers, or just any pliers, but I think needle nose work better. My handy dandy electric ratchet. You don't have to have an electric ratchet, but if you're bougie and you wanna get it done faster, go ahead and grab you one, or grab a better one than a Walmart one. I just happen to have this because it's cheap. And then you're gonna need an extension and an 11mm socket. You're also going to need an 11mm deep well socket. I happen to only have a 1/2 inch deep well, so I have to use a regular ratchet on those deep wells. The first thing you're going to do, just like we did on the fuel injectors, you're going to take these needle nose here, you're going to wedge it in between the throttle cable, and you're going to pop that off. Okay, and then you're going to take the kick down cable, you kind of got to push that. Push it down, there you go. Kick down cable's off. Okay, then these two here I believe are 10mm, so we're gonna get those off and out of the way. And there's another one right here behind injector number 2. Okay, now we're gonna pull this assembly off. And don't forget your cable holder right here. Now these things tend to break, okay? If you break this, do not worry. Azzy's Design Works, they are great. They make a lot of good stuff. Azzy's Design Works is a really good company to get 3D printed stuff from. So definitely don't be afraid to go through them. They're awesome. And then just for storage, I'm gonna set these back into the manifold where they go. Just a couple threads in there. And then this vacuum hose back here, has to come off. Be gentle with it. All right. And then your fuel injector wiring rail has to come off. Be very, very gentle with this. I've already broken this actually. There we go. And then there we go. Be very careful with this even when it's off, because your fuel injectors, I mean, that's all I got to say. And the pigtails, they're very fragile. Now we're going to take this here heater core hose off, and I'm going to use these needle nose because of the way that they grip onto this. That's off. I'm gonna pull this off. Be careful, there's coolant in it. Try not to lose too much coolant. Okay, there's actually no coolant in this. Great. That works perfectly. I've got that tucked off in the AC hoses, so it's out of the way and in a safe spot. Now we're gonna go ahead and start getting the valve cover itself off. Oh, dark cloud, I hope it don't rain. Alright, that's all I'm going to be able to get out with the electric ratchet. Now I've got to use the manual ratchet. Actually, no, there's a couple more I can get out. They're just buried in grease. God dang, it's disgusting. Hey, how you doing? So this is the part of the video where I get to tell you guys that I messed up again a little bit. I am really bad about just never ever having the proper tools to get a job done. And that's what happened here. So I got stuck on one last bolt at the very back of the valve cover by the firewall that I didn't have the proper tools to get out. You need very small tools and, if possible, very small hands, which I had none of at the time. So I had to stop and call my buddy to get some help.
Stop it. Get some help.
Sometimes that's okay. Just like the fuel injectors. That was just more of a knowledge thing than a tools thing, I think. But either way, I've got it done now, and here is the finishing product. Alright, so I had to call in the big guns and get some help to get that last bolt back there out because I didn't have the proper tools. But we got it all back together and back on. I'm sorry that was kind of so choppy and you guys didn't really get to see the work being done. Well, that did not at all go as planned, as no automotive job ever really does. But my buddy left me with a special gift, a 1/4-inch ratchet, which is exactly what I needed to get to that bolt all the way in the back. That was very annoying. So thank you to Roy for helping me with that, bud. And yeah, guys, make sure that you have the proper tools before you start any job. You're going to need one of these 1/4-inch ratchets, a 1/4-inch swivel socket, and extensions, and an 11mm, of course. I want to point out something if you guys haven't noticed, and no, it's not the squeaky serpentine belt. It is how it's running. See how it's idling lower than it always did normally? I had a vacuum leak right there where that bolt is, plugging it, and my buddy found it last night when he came over and helped me with the valve cover gasket, and he plugged that hole and it started running and idling better. So I plugged that off, and I haven't even taken it for a drive yet since I found that out. So once we get to drive it, that'll be pretty exciting, and I'll take you guys along to see how it runs, and we'll make sure we don't have any leaks in that valve cover gasket. But you can see it looks nice. It's brand new, it's blue. I mean, that doesn't mean anything color-wise, but we got everything back together. She's running good. Everything looks good. I was told the other day by a guy in a Facebook group, Jeep Cherokee, and he said that I had a really nice clean engine bay, and honestly, I didn't think that. You know, I just put new parts on it to try to help this thing run better, but now that he said it, I mean, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel like I'm doing something right here. So, you know, to have a nice clean engine bay, besides this crap here, on an XJ is kind of an honor. So I'll take that. Thank you to Garrett, I believe is the one that told me that. Before I go to work today, I'm also going to take her to get a wash. She really needs it bad. She's dirty. All right, well, I've been advertising a lot of this hyper tough stuff because that's just what I happen to have. It was cheap, but it's starting to catch up to me. This is the bad luck day of air compressors because this one died on me too. So it's time to upgrade to something else. Doesn't have to be a Milwaukee or DeWalt, but I need something better. Give me you guys give me your recommendations on, you know, your preference of tools and stuff like that. That's relatively cheap but works, but that's not Walmart stuff. I might go with Hart because they are the same company that makes Milwaukee. They're still sold at Walmart, but they're a little bit better quality. You know, just throw in the comments, like, subscribe. You know, if you guys want to help me fund this, you know, get closer to YouTube monetization so I can get all this cool stuff. Y'all, it's running so much better. Listen to this. I'm about to take off. It actually shifts better too. I thought there was something wrong with my transmission for a second, you know, a while back, because it just would shift weird, but it was that vacuum leak. Going up a hill now though. That's why it's gonna shift late. That's beautiful. Now when I'm idling, all you hear is that squeaky serpentine belt. I hate that it does that. That serpentine belt is brand new. It literally should not be doing that. And so is the drive pulley too. The tensioner pulley is brand new. But I'm going to pick up my buddy here. I'm going to run to Walmart to see how it rides, stuff like that. Oh, is that somebody? There's somebody already out with a plow truck. We're getting ready for a winter storm up here, so that'll be fun. I'll make sure to document that. I'm already prepared. I got my weight in the back. I've got and it's a bag of salt for ice and stuff. So I've got my weight in the back. I've got and it's also good for traction. If I ever get stuck, I can just rip it open and just throw it under the tires and try to get me some traction from it. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Alright guys, so that'll be all for today's video. The Jeep's running pretty good for right now. Knocking on some wood there. And, you know, we got that valve cover gasket changed. Hopefully you learned something. If you didn't, I don't blame you. The one takeaway from this is get your proper tools. Get some tools. Have the right tools no matter what job you're doing. Get what you need to have first. That's all I'm going to say. With that, I will see you guys later. Thank you for watching Florida Man Jay's Garage.